Yeah.
That's my goal. So I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but the key thing for me is I'm always working towards something. I'm always having myself a goal. Being number one agency director in my category, that's not enough for me anymore. Being regional agency director for the Pensacola office, that's not enough for me anymore. And that was a high goal for me at one point, but I realized that once I get there, what's next?
Mhm.
Goals are
Because
always evolving.
if you don't give yourself a what's next, then what are you still doing here? You know what I mean?
Welcome to the Work Hard People's Podcast. We're here with episode number 7. I'm James, the old guy here. We got the beautiful Emma with us, and we have Austin. Austin, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself this morning?
Yeah, what's up, guys? My name's Austin Creel. I'm a regional agency director for a life insurance company, Globe Life, Liberty National, Pensacola, Florida. I'm happy to be here. Appreciate y'all for having me on.
Oh, we appreciate you coming on. How you doing today, Emma?
I'm pretty good, just running and gunning, trying to get my kid to school. Now I'm finally able to sit down, have a cup of coffee, and get on with you guys. So it's been good. How are you today,
Good.
James? How's your post checkup, post op?
It's good. Cast days are tough because it's a 2-hour ride to the surgeon. So the foot kind of swells a little bit. They take the cast off, it swells a little bit more. Then they
Hmm.
put the new cast on, and it's like wearing a tight brand new shoe for a couple days. But yeah, it's not too bad. Not too bad. I did get cleared to be able to hit the gym again, so that's
You got a
cool.
new ride too, nice little scooter.
Yeah, my nice little scooter to cruise around on.
That's what I'm talking about. Don't go too fast now.
That's it. That's it. Well, awesome. We're very happy to have you on today. I know that this episode will be a little bit different, just
Mhm.
because we're going to talk a little bit about the financial world, which Emma and Austin both are in. I actually used to be in that world. I still have a Series 7, Series 66 California insurance
Austin, James,
license.
James
So,
actually helped me pass the exam
Oh,
when we were going
really?
over like variable annuities and stuff. I was doing the cram course and I was like, what is I don't understand. And he was
Man, I
having to
tell you
explain it
what,
to
it can get a little bit confusing with all these different policies they have
me.
nowadays.
well, I think the insurance test is the toughest one.
It is. It is.
It was well, the Series 24 is pretty tough.
Mhm.
The management certification, that one's that's got a pretty high fail rate, but the life insurance, that's the only one I failed. I failed it the
Right.
first time I took it, barely. I had to retake that one. So
Yeah, so I had to take mine in Mississippi, man, and apparently the Mississippi one, you know what they say about Mississippi, whatever. But we had to make a 65, and I've never made a harder 65 in my life. It's a pretty tough test. I'm not gonna lie. With all these rules and regulations, and they ask you questions in a different way than what they taught you to try to trick you. They ask it the opposite way. I'm just like,
and
hmm.
and sometimes the answers, you'll have two answers that seem right, but one word makes one incorrect.
That's correct,
Yeah.
and it's like, what is the most logical answer here? And that's the one you gotta pick.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. But also, I found out that Austin, you played college baseball, yeah?
I did.
Where'd you go to school?
So I started off at a place called Mississippi Gulf Coast, in
Okay,
Perkinsville,
familiar.
Mississippi. Played there for about a year. I got redshirted, had some mental stuff go on for sure, and that was a battle. So I decided to pick up and leave, and I had another buddy of mine that played at a place called Bishop State in Mobile. It's a community college, right dead set in the heart of Mobile, and I decided to go over there with him, room with him, and it was the best decision I've ever made in my life. Played there for a semester, and then I got sought out. I went from being a mental mess to getting sought out from a local 4-year college called the University of Mobile. And after one semester, they offered me a scholarship to finish out there. So I finished out at the University of Mobile for 2 years. I believe it was 2018 and 2020.
Nice. Did you guys
Yeah.
play at Hank Aaron Stadium down there?
We did. We did. We had a couple of games there. We had a couple of so we're real big rivals with Spring Hill, what's their logo? Either way, Spring Hill College. And we played them there because we're real big rivals. They're D2, we were NAIA, so we still every game was like LSU Alabama. I mean, it was like just a rivalry that nobody wanted to miss. So they put us in the big stadium under the big lights, and it was a lot of fun.
And what position did you play?
So in high school, or when I was little, I played everything. I was just one of those kids that, was just a natural athlete, played third base, first base. High school, I dimmed down to first base and pitcher. And then I don't know why, I just always liked pitching. I always was just really good at it. Didn't focus so much on the hitting side, so I ended up pitching in college, throughout college.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yep.
So you
So
said,
why?
go ahead,
keep
James.
going.
No, you go ahead,
for it.
James.
I was just gonna ask why when you finished with that, why insurance? Why'd you go that direction?
Funny question, James. So when I finished school, man, it was COVID. Like, there was nothing going on. Everybody was like, "What's going on with the world? Like, what's gonna happen?" And I decided to not go back and play baseball and just finish school at home. So I finished out semester, graduated, and sat on my butt for a couple of months. And my parents are very successful, so I had a lot to live up to, some pressure. Got a successful family, so I was like, dang, what am I going to do with my life? You know what I mean? I was one of those kids that just always thought that baseball was the answer, like baseball, baseball, baseball.
I am pro baseball.
You got to go pro, you know what I mean? But you realize very, very quickly that's very hard to do. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up coming to that realization, and it kind of made me upset and sad about it. So I just sat around for a couple of months, you know what I'm saying? And my mom pretty much said, like, look, we love having you around, we love having you home, but you gotta go get a job. Like, you gotta go get, you have a degree, you're smart, you're talented, just start applying for places. So I did. Sent out my resume, ZipRecruiter, Indeed, everywhere, per usual. And I was kind of, half a doing it, just send it here, send it there, not even really looking at my emails. Then all of a sudden, I got a phone call from my mentor, who was at the time the regional agency director for the Ocean Springs, Mississippi office. And he called me up, just like I called Emma, and pretty much said, hey, we went over your resume. I'd like for you to come in for an interview. And went in a suit and tie. And this dude just kind of, he bought me. I mean, he sold me. I mean, it was like, I was like, I can do this. If he can do this, I can do this. So I came into it with an open mind, and my family was kind of like, you should probably go get a real job, or you should probably go get a salary job with a 401k. Like, why would you do this? Why would you know what I'm saying? Solely off, performance. And I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. I've already started, I've already done the training. Why not? And I turned out to be, pretty dang good at it. So how I ended up here is kind of funny, but to answer your question, why insurance? It just happened to fall on my plate by resume I sent in, and I took advantage of it. So
what a lot of people don't realize about the industry as well is once you can from the advisor side or the agent side, is once you can annuitize a book of business, it is almost like a salary. As long as you can maintain those clients and continue to fulfill their needs, then that income is pretty steady. So
right, and it's all
it's
about
tough getting there.
It is. It's a tough road, but nothing worth having is not tough in the beginning. You know what I mean? And I would be lying if I said it wasn't tough in the beginning, because it was, but it did come pretty easy to me because of my personality, and my leadership that I had in the front end. But it's just getting over that first curve, that learning curve, and then it's just rocking and rolling from there.
I also found in my go ahead.
I was just going to say, so Austin, you were talking about how your family was really skeptical about you taking this job because it is self-employed technically, 1099.
Yeah.
Well, dive into that a little bit, because you always talk about at the office that you always are going to have the naysayers in your ear telling you, no, you shouldn't be doing that. It's not guaranteed, A, B, and C, and D. Dive into that a little bit, because I know that there's a lot of listeners that we affiliate with, and they are skeptical. They're worried to quit their 9 to 5 because it is comfortable. But that's a great thing about doing something like this, is that you get out of your comfort zone. So kind of dive into that dive into your thought process on that a little bit.
Man, that's a $1 million topic right there, because comfortability is something that is just, when you're comfortable, you're comfortable, okay? But when I first started, my parents pretty much told me, like, you don't need to do this, like, it's commission based, like, what if. But the pure feeling of getting to make your own living based off of your performance and what you do and how hard you work and how many people you sit down with and how many phone calls you make, the pure feeling of getting that paycheck that's way bigger than all of your friends and families in 1 week or 1 month or your salary for that year, it takes care of itself. Like, that pure feeling that I did that. It's not just about how many hours that I worked that week. It's about how hard I worked and what I did to get there. So, when I first started, everybody was skeptical. My friends said, insurance, no. Why would you do that? My parents, even, they try to talk me out of it. I even had a couple of instances where I had to go sit down with them when I first started and be like, look, like, I'm going to see this through. Like, I'm going to see this through. I've already started. I'm not just going to tell somebody I'm going to do something and not do it. So it was tough in the beginning, but once they saw the success and the work that I was putting in and the leaderboards and the just a recognition of the company and how they treated me, they were like, look, have at it, go shoot for the stars. Because the fact of the matter is, when you start a career like this, people think that it's just going to be handed to you. And people also think that, when you first start, like, it's just going to come. All right. It's just going to be like, poof, lots of money, lots of clients, lots of success. But the
That's
road to
not how
get
that
there,
works.
No.
the road to get there, man, is absolutely, I mean, it's tough. It is tough. But like I was saying earlier, once you get over that first initial hump, once you get that confidence, once you realize what it actually takes, then it becomes fun. It becomes addicting, and it becomes like a um, I don't know, it feels
It's
good.
self-gratifying. Yeah.
Yes, I was looking
Yeah.
for a word for that. It's self-gratifying. It makes you feel good to know that you did that. Like, and our CEO says it best. I went to a leadership academy a couple years ago, and he said, when he first started, he worked at Home Depot, and his wife was saying the same thing. Like, why are you doing this? We have bills to pay. We got a family to feed. Like, we have a mortgage, etc. Why are you doing this? And he would bring home a $2,000 check 1 week and then a $153 check. And then he posted that first $153 check. He still has it framed up on his wall, just to remind him that that was what he was worth that week. And in this business, you are worth every single penny of that certain week, if that makes sense. If
Hmm.
you worked $153 worth, that's what you're going to get. If you work 3 grand worth, that's what you're going to get. And that's just, you have to be real with yourself, and the fact that if you want something like this in life, the financial freedom, the ability to take off whenever you want to take off, it's going to come with a lot of work, a lot of hard work. And I had a lot of naysayers in the front end, but people even say to this day, like this weekend, I went home to visit some friends. Like, you know what, man, I didn't, I thought you were stupid by getting the insurance, and now I wish you the best of luck, and I see your success, and I'm so proud of you.
And what do we say in the office? They may not like you. What is it? 365 days, or but they'll like. What is it?
You're not gonna like me during the week, but you're gonna like me on payday. That's
Yeah,
fair.
that's what it is.
I explained that to Emma when she was first getting in this. I told her, I said, listen, you're going to work like a dog at first. And the
Uh,
only thing that matters in this business, see, I look at it two sides of it, right? You have
uh-huh.
the advisor or agent side of the business, and then you have the client side of the business.
Right,
And as the advisor or an agent, you are going to work like a dog to achieve a moniker of success, to get to the point where you can do whatever you want,
right,
because at that point your book's annuitized, or you are managing enough money, or um what am I thinking of here, policies, where those things are annuitized for you, and you're doing fine at that point. But the
right,
work leading up to that is absolutely crazy. And then there's also the client side. My mentor in the financial industry, we teamed up at Merrill Lynch. That's where I
Mhm.
got licensed, was through Merrill Lynch. And when we first got together, he sat me down and he said, listen, you are every supervisor in this place is going to pump you to sell, 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 sell. And I am going to tell you to back off of that. And whatever you do, you make sure you're putting the client's interest first.
Yes.
Always put the client's interest first. You may lose some business on the front end, but you will gain it tenfold on the back.
Yep.
And I always did that. If I sat down with a client and I could not benefit them or help them, I would tell them, listen, I can't, there's nothing I can do for you. Or even when I did client reviews looking for new clients, I would, if I looked over their stuff and their advisor was doing a great job, I told them, hey, your advisor's doing a great job. I'd stay with
Right.
them.
Right.
And by doing that, the referral side of my business was huge.
Right.
And so I was able to annuitize a book pretty quickly and you know, do fairly well in the industry, but it's putting the clients first. And that's one of the things that we focus on here at Work Hard Peoples is we don't do cookie cutter training programs. We don't do cookie cutter nutrition programs. Everything that we do is designed around the needs and goals of the client, period.
That's right.
And that's what we talk about in the office all the time too, James. We always Austin pushes it every Monday and Thursday. He's like, "Be where your feet are, be where your feet are." And I mean, it goes a long way. I mean, I've sat with people personally that I can't sell them a policy because of reason A, B, or C, or B, um, they don't know enough. They're not comfortable with me enough. And even though I've built that relationship with them. I've made it known. I mean, I sat with this one gentleman and we were going over his potential policies he had, and they weren't going. That other company was not going to insure him, but because of that, he actually called me yesterday, and wants me to come back out this coming week because I was where my feet were. I was worried about this client. I was worried about actually, talking to him and not just trying to make money or whatever the situation was. One of our other supervisors, just last night, she sat down with this one couple, and they told her they had a $400,000 whole life policy, and they she told him, she was like, you know what, I'm not going to lie to you. You honestly really don't need any more coverage. I'm not going to lie to you. Maybe straight up with you. You have a great policy. Any company that tells you that you don't is full of it. And so because she was honest with them, she was where her feet were. I mean, she's made good relationship with them, and she expects a call from them here pretty soon as well. So exactly, like it's really important that you're paying attention and you're not just trying to make money, and you
Right.
actually care about these people that you're sitting with, because at the end of the day, that's really what matters, and that's what makes you feel good. Because yeah, sure, you can write a policy and make money off of it on the front end, and Austin talks about it all the time too. Sure, you made a great paycheck that week, but in a couple weeks when that policy falls off, you're having to pay it back regardless. So it's really
But
cool because it all kind of comes together, like with the podcast, with our website, with our company, and then also with Globe Life, and then also with my coaching. Like it all comes back to doing the best for other people, and it's not
Being a
just trying to
good
help.
human, being a good
Exactly.
human being. You know,
Exactly.
back to what you guys both were talking about. It's we always say it's not about what you write or how much you write, it's about what you keep. Because, it's very, very hard to differentiate yourself, especially when you first start. You see all these people making 3, 4, $5,000 a week, just rocking and rolling. It's very hard to not want to sell to everyone. All right. And then once you come to the realization that once you put these people first, they can sense that you're truly caring about them. And they can also sense when you're not. They can sense a salesy salesperson. And that's what we teach. That's our bread and butter here, is to be a needs-based educator. Okay. Because some of the clients that we sit down with, they have no idea what they're even like they've never even looked into life insurance. They don't know what it is. So our presentation, our company really, really drives the education process more than the selling the insurance. All right. So that's
Hmm.
what our needs-based approach is designed to do. You know what I mean?
and that is key. That
Yes,
I was gonna talk about that just a minute ago, is that it is a client service industry
it is.
and an education industry. And
Mhm.
when you look at so many people that start late, whether it be for financial planning and retiring and saving, and or waiting because they don't think they can afford insurance, and then when problems arise, it's too late.
Mhm.
It's
Yep.
too late. When it's time to retire, if you haven't set yourself up, it's too late.
Yeah.
If a death, it's tragic, but it happens, and it happens to children. I mean, I have insurance on myself, my wife, even my son. I can insure him for a few more
Do you
years
need some
still.
more,
He's
James?
I'm good right now, but I'll call you if I do. But yeah, I
What
mean,
time works best for you?
it's important, and planning for the unforeseen is
That's
important.
right.
I mean, if my wife and I hadn't been diligent about doing things like that, I mean, I've been out of work for almost a year.
Right.
So, but we've been fine. I mean, we've been food on the table, roof over our head, lights are on,
And
we've
y'all
been
just
able to
moved,
do
didn't
that.
y'all?
So, yeah. So, you know, it's very important. And the education side of it is huge. Just
That's right.
teaching people how important it is, and why it's needed is a
Right.
big thing. I love
I
And
mean,
hearing
it's
I didn't
sad
know
to see
anything about it
because
until I started working. I was like,
yeah,
oh, life insurance. I was like, oh, I need that.
what
I'm
does that
like,
even
oh,
mean? Yeah.
yeah. I'm
It's
like,
it's
oops,
really
okay.
sad to see because you have some of these folks that, either have been dealt with in the past by other companies or just that we sit down with that have no idea what they bought or why they bought it or what our importance is. I'm going to do everything in my power while I'm sitting right in front of you to get you taken care of. And that's what we really hone in on. Like if you like you were saying, James, that you hit the nail on the head. If you don't need this, I'm not going to sell it to you. Why? You know what I mean? Because down the
Yeah.
road, it's just going to hurt both of us. You
Hmm.
paying all this money and you don't even want it. So it's really truly a hard lesson to learn. But and then also I'll go back to the lesson of everybody has that one story, that one house, that one client that you took care of and that you made sure that you took care of, and either something happened to them or they reach back out to you and say, "Hey, I'm so thankful for you." Everybody has that one instance where it clicks. It's like, okay, that's why I'm doing this. That's the importance of this business. Because at first it's money, 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 policies, policies, sell, sell, sell. But then you get seasoned and you have that one story, and then it's just like it comes to a realization like, okay, that's why I'm actually doing this. It's not all about the money anymore.
Tell everybody this all the time, and I'll say it again right now with you two as licensed insurance agents. Don't go I used to tell people this with investing as well. Don't go online to Tom, Dick, and Harry's investment or insurance broker and just let them purchase something or do a bunch of transactional business. You want to find somebody that truly is going to service your needs, that cares about you, and you need that education, because it's like, I'm not a doctor. I'm definitely not a surgeon. I'm not operating on my own foot, right?
Yeah.
That's one aspect. The other aspect, especially when it comes to money, and I think this is very important for people to understand. When it comes to money, it is very important to have an outside interest helping you, because we are emotionally invested in our own money, and we make bad decisions when things are going bad.
Yep.
People sell too quick, or they pull the trigger on something they shouldn't. They make very bad decisions. I would do it as well. I do not buy, sell, trade, or do anything without talking to somebody first,
Right.
right? And it's important for people to use professionals. You guys are trained in that space. You work in it every day. You know what policies are going to benefit people and help people with their needs. And so you should go to the professional to get that advice.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly. We sit down with people, like obviously we want them to have as much coverage as they possibly can. Like we want them to have everything that they would need where they're when it's their time, because you're guaranteed one thing in life, you're gonna die.
Mm,
Yeah,
That's a guarantee, like
coming.
100%. And so, when we sit down with these people, like we want them to have everything that they can. We want them to be completely covered. So when they do pass away, their family knows that they were thinking about their family, to make sure that they're not struggling. I mean, I sat down with this one individual. He just lost his fiance a week prior to me sitting down in his arms. And that absolutely broke my heart. But he understood how vitally important it was to have something to help bury him when it's his time, because his fiance didn't have anything.
Right.
And so when you sit down, just like Austin was saying, when you sit down with these people in the beginning, it's like, as we're human, as it's money, 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 because it's exciting. You're making good paychecks, all of that stuff. But as you keep going, you start sitting down with these people, and it humanizes the business. It really does. It shows it really it humbles you because it makes you realize that all these peoples have different stories. So we sit down with each individual, we're talking to them, we're getting to know their life. And that's probably my favorite part because I'm getting to hear different stories from these different people and seeing how everyone's families click together. And it's so rewarding. It really is, regardless of if there's a paycheck at the end of it, just being able to sit and talk with these people and hear their stories and learn about them. And sometimes just give them an ear to talk to. Because a lot of
Yeah.
these people go through so much stuff and they don't have anyone to talk to about it. And I'm sitting on their couch and I'm like, well, I'm here. I got your appointment booked. You might as well talk my ear off for a good hour. It's all good. So it's just crazy. Um, but Austin, talk about I wanted to ask you, and I make jokes about it with you. So you run the whole office pretty much in Pensacola.
Mm-hmm.
How many agents and supervising agents and other agency directors are there? How many people are you having to keep a count on?
There's two other directors. There's about 16 supervisors, and I would say about 30 some odd agents. So altogether, I'd say it ranges probably about rough guesstimate 50,
50.
50 people, 50 people.
Austin's always running around the office like a chicken with his head cut off sometimes. So especially Mondays.
Yes, I'm
Mondays are
sure.
a fun time, man. Mondays
I'm
are a fun
sure.
time.
I hate Monday mornings.
Lots of caffeine, lots of caffeine.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, man. I was telling James that you work out at Pensacola Fitness.
Hmm.
And James, I would always give Austin crap in the beginning because I was like, I never see you there. I'm like, I don't think you actually go work out there because I've never seen you. But apparently he goes like 7 a.m. or something like that. So
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I have a little cheat code because I go to Planet Fitness here too. When I'm super tired, I don't feel like waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'll just roll over here to Pensacola, give me a little workout, or not Pensacola, Planet Fitness, but
yeah.
I
I
had a
like
Planet
Pensacola.
Fitness membership as well, just for when I was
I
on the
mean,
road
hey,
because they were everywhere,
exactly.
right?
I mean, they're not
But
ideal to work out at for what I'm trying to do, but they get the job done. I mean,
what are you looking to do
what do you mean?
physically? What are you looking? How do you lift? What's your goals?
Man, I lift to get strong and I lift to look good. I used to be really fat when I was a little kid, so I do have that census in the back of my head. Like I know I'm not fat, but it's just that thing in your mind. If you've ever
Body
been picked on as
dysmorphia.
a kid, if you've ever been picked on as a kid, especially how I was picked on, and I was never like obese, but I was chunky, and people like to
Yeah,
pick on me for it. And I still got this thing in the back of my head that my body's never going to be good enough. And I'll always see a flaw. So for me, constantly lifting, constantly working out just keeps me in check mentally and knows that, the grind that I'm putting my body through is going to be, it just puts me in a mental headspace, a
yeah.
good mental headspace. And I'm trying to get big and I'm not trying to get like, ooh, huge, but I'm just trying to
Well,
look good, man, and be
that
strong.
the misconception that a lot of people have is that if I go in there and I do rep ranges and weights like a bodybuilder, I'm going to get huge. That is
No,
not true. That
no.
is a myth. It requires lots of other things, mainly food.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
people don't realize that to get big, you got to eat and you have to eat a lot. And I like that too. Like I love that full round, I like my shoulders to be capped. I'm not trying to first of all, at my age, it's not happening, right? Just I'm at that point where I mean, I can keep myself in decent shape. I'm pretty strong. Um uh, but I'm not going to be doing that type of stuff. But it's food. Food is
Yeah,
the key.
it is.
100%.
That's what I tell everyone because I mean, I'm struggling to still continue and develop muscle, which granted I haven't been working out like I should be, but my schedule is really crazy right now.
Yeah.
Um, and people don't realize how extremely difficult it is to build muscle.
It
It
is.
is so hard because there's so much more that goes into it than just going to the gym, lifting, tearing down that muscle and making it rebuild. The
Mhm.
rebuilding process, you have to have protein, you need to make sure you have enough water, you have to make sure you're getting enough sleep. If those are just three minimums. If you don't have those three, it's not going to happen. I mean, you'll lose some weight, but you're not going to build muscle like you want.
No, yeah, you're not gonna do what you think you're doing.
Mm-mm,
And then the type of muscle you want to build, right? If you want that 3D look, that bubbly or more bubble muscle, you need to lift a certain way to do that.
Yep.
If you look at a strong man, even a lean power lifter, their muscle structure is very different than somebody that lifts for hypertrophy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's just a completely different way to lift. When you're volumizing muscle fibers versus using all your strength to lift something, it's just a completely different style. And it is good to incorporate a little bit of both. I mean, the best way to get the big round muscles is to lift very heavy things for high volume.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And if you're not strong, you can't lift heavy
Can't
things
do
at high
that.
volume, right?
Can't
That's
do
me
that.
with
So-
my 7.5s doing my like lateral
Well,
raises.
See, it's funny too. Learning your body's one thing, right? I find that there's certain things for me, like my arms get rounder, my shoulders get rounder when I use lighter weight and higher reps.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I
Where
mean
my
definitely because you're
chest and back gets bigger when I stay in that 8 to 12 rep range and
That's
do
Yeah.
some
right.
heavy crap, right?
That's right. That's
because
right.
So
Chris has me on like 15 to 20 reps. I mean, yeah, 15 to 20 reps and then like 4 to 5 sets. And so I take off my little pump cover, and if I'm like hitting back and shoulders, my shoulders are nice, and I'm like,
oh
ooh,
yeah.
ooh, that looks
Yeah.
good.
I love it when they're juicy, when they're
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. Like shoulder
yeah.
pads.
Oh
Yes,
yeah, I'm
exactly.
excited I'm pumped to get back in. I'll be in there tonight. I'm doing a little chest and tricep tonight. I'm
It's
excited.
exciting.
Ooh.
Did you
Yeah,
work
I
out
was
this
For a week.
morning, Austin?
I was about to tell this story. So I started a softball league, a slow pitch softball league, and I played 2 games last night. And my body is not used to exerting itself like that, as far as like playing a sport at
Yeah.
that high volume, 2 games. And I woke up this morning, I could barely move. So I was like, there's I need to give myself a break this morning. My
Oh yeah.
shoulders sore, my arms sore,
Oh,
my legs are
Oh
sore.
yeah.
you're gonna be even more sore tomorrow.
Oh, it's gonna be terrible.
I
And
used to love
I'm only 24 years old, about to be 25. I'm like, is it this quick that you get this old? I
Ask
mean,
James, he knows.
oh,
oh, I actually feel for 51, I feel really good.
right.
I feel really good. And I have some joint pain and things, but I did stupid things. I mean, I literally played tackle football in pads. My last game, I was 41 years old.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I mean, I have been taking this body and slamming it around for a lot of years. But
Right.
the physical activity, I think, is what makes you feel better.
Hmm.
I was this
Hmm.
past week, I was starting to get a little creaky and sore, and I mean, my back was a little tight. And then this morning, I got up and I did abs and a little bit. I do this seated cardio thing that I put together because I can't walk, right? But uh, I did that and some push-ups, and like my back's loosened up. I feel good. So yeah,
People don't
I'm
realize how
excited.
important it is to be moving. They do not
Mm.
realize it. I mean, Mason's grandfather, he's 83,
Hmm.
still laying concrete,
Yeah.
Wow.
still like working and laying concrete. This man is so incredibly healthy, so mentally sound, like to a T. And I guarantee you it is 100% because he is still completely active. My grandmother, who was on the verge of death, like up in probably around 2020, 2019, she was on the verge of death. She had horrible diabetes, horrible blood pressure. She was severely overweight. She couldn't move. There was so many health complications. She finally went to a doctor, started getting that in check, and I made her go get a gym membership. And she goes to her gym. She has a little trainer. She goes 30 minutes twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I have never seen her look and feel so young. She's
Yeah.
able to move. I mean, it's so cute. She does her little lap pull downs. It's probably the cutest dang thing. She's 70, 76, I think.
That's
And she
crazy.
just, it's the cutest dang thing. But because she's starting to get active, her mental health and her mental sharpness is dramatic. It was like overnight. two
Yeah.
days in the gym, and all of a sudden she was like boom, boom, boom. She could remember stuff. Um, she likes to move around her living room furniture, and she can do that so much more now. And it's just crazy. People don't realize that you don't have to, just how Chris was when he was on the last podcast. You don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to. You don't have to be lifting weights. Just going in on a walk, going around the block after you eat, go walk a couple laps around your neighborhood. Being active is the most important thing, and especially like in our line of work, Austin, you're sitting in a car driving to your appointments, and then you're
Yep.
sitting at the appointment, and then you sit in
Yep.
your car again, and you drive to, it's just constant sitting.
Yeah.
So it's important that I find my time in my day to make sure I'm getting my steps in, that I'm getting my movement in. If I haven't got to go to the gym, I'm making sure that I'm still moving, because at the end of
Yep.
the day, that's what keeps you sane. You have to
Right.
have that physical exertion. I mean, you're sore and you're tired, but I guarantee you felt fantastic after playing last night, right?
Oh God, yeah. My endorphins, my mentality. I was like, that felt so good. I hadn't
Right?
done that in 3, 4 years,
Right?
And just to go on the mental side of it, it's like you realize how good that felt and you miss it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And then, as far as the mental side of the gym, like that is my mental escape, is going to the gym. You know what I mean? Anytime I feel down, or anytime I feel anxious, or anytime I'm feeling just cruddy, after a workout, a good workout, just breaking a sweat, I feel amazing.
Mhm.
And I mean, it gets to a certain point, it's just like anything else. It sucks at first. It's terrible. You feel like crap, you're sore, you can't move, you hurt. And then after about 2 or 3 weeks, your body feels like crap if you don't go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's where I've gotten to, is I feel mentally down, physically down. I'll start getting, anxious or whatever if I don't go to the gym. You know what I
You can
mean?
tell, James, you can tell when Austin didn't go to the gym that morning because he's in the
Yeah.
office. And I'm like, "Did you work out today?" He's like, "No, not yet." I'm like, "Okay."
I
Yeah.
tell my wife it's literally like Prozac for me. It is
Yeah,
it is an antidepressant, and I
it
like
is.
to lift weights, right? So I enjoy it. It just my mood changes, my mental clarity gets better. I even leading up to it, planning, preparing for the workout, um, all of those things it's just everything for me as far as
Yeah.
my mental health.
And I got kicked on pre-workout there for a while, and that was kind of like, you kind of get addicted to it, and you want to take it, and you want to go to the gym. It makes you go to the gym like, oh, pre-workout, I want to feel tingly.
But
And
then
then
if you don't have it, you feel like you can't get a good workout in.
exactly. And then I got to where, I don't take pre-workout anymore, and it's just me and myself and I, you know what I mean?
See, I
And
don't
that's
take stimulant
yeah, that's the
pre-workout.
best feeling in the world. It's just
I
when you can go with your brain and your energy and do that workout yourself, you feel a lot better.
Hmm.
you should look into trying a non-stim pre-workout. And this
Yeah.
is why. What a non-stim when you're getting L-citrulline and uh NO3T and some of those you can even get some that doesn't have the beta alanine. That's the itchy, right?
The
Comes
itchy
from the beta
stuff, yeah.
alanine. But when you have that in there, what it does, it's a vascular dilator.
Mhm.
So all it's doing is especially if you're looking to make those 3D round muscles, right? Because what it does is it dilates those blood vessels to allow blood flow to
Mhm.
get into the muscle and drive nutrients in.
Right.
So it's where a lot of people get hung up though is they're always using something with a ton of caffeine. They're always
Hmm.
just stemming their brain out. I don't do that. I mainly use non-stem stuff. If I'm super tired and know I need to get a workout or because I usually get up about 5 o'clock in the mornings when I do my morning workout here at the
Mhm.
house. And sometimes in the morning I might take something with just 150 milligrams of caffeine in it, just in the morning to do my sit-ups and stuff. But when I lift, I don't like the stimulant. I don't
Right.
want it in there because what people don't realize is a stimulant could do the exact opposite of what the other does because the stimulant wants to constrict the blood
Exactly. It's
vessel.
a vasoconstrictor. That was
Right.
probably the first thing that I ever told Austin when I first like found out he worked out when I started working there. He was like, "Yeah, I went to the gym this morning. I took pre-workout and I'm like super antsy." And I was like, "Take some L-theanine." He's like, "Oh yeah." And I was like, "Yeah, because when you're taking pre-workout, caffeine is a vasoconstrictor, nicotine
Yeah.
is a vasoconstrictor. I mean, a
Mhm.
lot of the other stimulants in the pre-workout are vasoconstrictors." And so typically when I'm taking a pre-workout, I make sure I take a non-stim pre with it as well, like the hydraulic from Axe
Hmm.
and Sledge. I make sure I take that as well to help combat some of that just jitteriness because you're like you're feeling like you're about to have a heart attack, doing
Right.
squat or whatever. That was like one of the first things we talked about. I was like, yeah, you need to get a bottle of L-theanine and just pop a pill whenever you're feeling like super jittery. That's what I have to do because I'll go
Yeah.
crazy.
I just
But
like that. I like that blood flow, that pump,
Yeah.
right? I want my muscles to be big and juicy. We were talking about it the other day in the group. I hate that flat feeling when you're dieting because I'm dieting
Oh,
right now.
sucks.
And it's like you go to the gym, you get a little pump and it leaves really fast. I like to feel full.
Yeah.
I love that pump when your muscles are all thick and juicy, just killing it. Love it.
that's how I feel right now. My quad sweeps are getting smaller and smaller. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah,
no,
don't do that. You worked hard to get those, man.
no.
You
Yeah.
got great quad sweeps.
I'm gonna bring Austin, I'm gonna bring you some of the hydraulic. It's whiskey cola flavor. And you can
Oh, okay.
take it. Yeah, I have like 5
Doesn't that
bottles.
taste like the bottle caps?
Yes, it
Like
does.
the old bottle
Yes.
cap candy?
When you
Yeah.
were a
Yes.
kid, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
That's
it's
exactly
pretty
what it
good. I've
tastes
had
like.
it. I
But it's
had the
good.
grind in that flavor. Yeah, it was
I
it
got the
was
grind, I got hydraulic, I got seventh gear, and then I won the t-shirt because it was that little like giveaway that they did.
Oh
And I
yeah, yeah,
won.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good deal.
I was like, oh my gosh, I'm famous.
Yeah, I pretty much use hydraulic in demo day. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'll have
demo
to bring
day,
you some
just
of
so
that,
you know
Austin, so
what
you
we're
try it.
talking around here. Demo day
Mhm.
is a rapid glycogen loader. It's a
Uh-huh.
carbohydrate powder. So
Okay.
it has the ability to rapidly load glycogen into the muscle
Uh-huh.
without uh getting a huge spike of insulin, right? Like if
Right,
you
right.
house some sugar or something. It's to me, I use I don't just use Access Ledge products. I use different companies for different things.
Hmm.
Demo Day to me is the best product that they make.
Really.
It is the best product that they make. But that's for me, right?
So yeah,
Everybody's different.
Austin, if you buy anything, make sure you use my code. So you get 10%
Okay.
off. And I
Was
I
it
get
will.
E
commission
Hubbard
off of it.
10, right?
Yeah.
I should throw my code out there, but no.
I've been
No,
hitting
use Emma's code.
I've been hitting commission every couple months and I've been able to keep buying stuff. It's pretty exciting. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah, that's good.
buy me some more
I'm talking
stuff.
about. It
That's
works
right.
out.
I was gonna
Very good.
say for anyone who's listening and doesn't know, so kind of what Austin when he introduced himself, he's regional agency director for Globe Life Liberty National for the Pensacola office. And he's talking about how he still goes and works out. And so he's at the top of the food chain, some of the top, well, not the top of the food chain, but up there at the food
Not
chain.
the top. I'm like the second or third tier, but hey.
Exactly. Yeah. So you're still up there. And he was saying what 50, 60 people that he's having to manage on a daily basis. And it's 7 days a week. Because it's not Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. There's
Got
on
to be around my
Sundays.
phone. Got to be available.
Exactly.
Guys, I even had
And
my phone in my pocket playing softball last night.
can
And that is the truth.
I get
That
a
is
cue
the
and
truth.
call?
Hold on one second. Pause again.
Yeah, so I just wanted to point out that people that just say that they don't have any time, um, there's always time. Like Austin works 7 days a week, all day, every day. If he's not working, he's asleep, and that's the only excuse because obviously he has to sleep. And he still
Yeah.
finds time to work out
But
regardless.
that,
So,
guys, you just gotta make time. You gotta make time because
mhm.
with whatever your career you're in, okay, you work a lot. You gotta make time for family too. I get that, but you gotta make time for yourself. All right, you have to make time for yourself. There's
But I mean,
work.
how long are you even at the gym for?
What do you mean?
Like, how long do you work out for?
Probably about an hour, hour and a half.
Hour, an hour and a half.
And I get everything I possibly need done. If I want to do
Mm-hmm.
some cardio too, I go a little bit earlier. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I carve out an hour or an hour and a half of my day because I like to take a long shower after and take my time to go work out. And that's you have 23, 22 and a half hours left in the day. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you got to make time because if you don't, there's family, there's work, and then there's you. All right, you have to make that you very important, just as important as the other two. Okay, because if you don't, then you'll start to slip, and
Mm-hmm.
once you feel yourself starting to slip, if your family starts to slip, your work starts to slip, then you start to slip. Usually, you start to slip first, and then
Mm-hmm.
your family, then your work, or whatever synchronization you want to look at it. But you have to make time for yourself because if you feel good, then it'll turn into you being in a good mood, and then it'll turn into you being there for your coworkers and you being the leader or the coworker or the spouse or the girlfriend or the boyfriend that you need to be or the mom, the dad. because you just have to make time for yourself. You have to. And there's really no excuse for not doing it, because there's 24 hours in a day. Usually, if you, let's just say you work 12 hours, that's fine. Cut out an hour, go work out. You got to do it. You got to do it,
Oh yeah,
because then
you'd be a better employee, better husband, better spouse,
yes,
better father.
everything,
Yeah,
everything.
everything's better.
You
No,
can't,
I
like, just
agree.
like how Chris said, you can't pour from an empty cup.
No,
You have to be full before you can go help other people.
no,
And
100%.
I mean, I'm feeling that. Last week I did not have a good week. This week is we're starting off all right. I'm hoping to have a better day today, as far as my appointments.
yeah,
Um, but I can feel it because I have not been uh doing that great as far as making time for myself. Just mentally, I haven't been working it consistently, and I'm starting to feel it because I'm mentally getting in my own head a lot more than I should be when before I was super resilient. I would just be like, okay, bad day, bad week, whatever, just bounce back. And it's not like that so much anymore. So,
yeah. And then if you don't do that for yourself, you can just, I don't know, you get so distracted by taking care of everything else that you forget and you start to lose yourself. And it's
hmm
crazy because you get so wrapped up in other things you don't even realize it. And then you sit back one day and you're just like, where is time going? Like, what
yep,
is going on with my life right now? And you're so focused on everything else, you don't take. And I'm not saying like 2, 3, 4 hours, like go lay by yourself. Just a collective moment, just to gather yourself and
exactly.
know
Get
feel
off your phone, get
literally
away from the
feel yourself.
TV.
Like I'm
Exactly.
here with myself right now and my own
hmm
thoughts. You know what I mean? So
we
Well,
run into the issue of constant stimulation. And
yeah,
so that doesn't help that you don't get time to yourself. You need to get off your phone, you need to
no.
turn off the radio, turn off the TV, and just sit in silence
Mhm.
for 5 minutes and just reflect on your own thoughts. Because you're constantly with all the distractions in today's world, you're filling your brain with synthetic dopamine essentially,
Mhm.
because it's not real and it's very temporary. That's why TikTok feels so good to watch because it's just constant, like swiping, swipe, swipe.
Yeah,
And so taking that time to disconnect and then reconnect is vitally important just for anyone, regardless of your line of work, regardless of your financial family, relationship situation. It doesn't matter. You still have to find yourself. Just like you were saying, you sit back and all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, what's going on?
what it's been a week, 2 weeks, like it's been a year. It's crazy, if you
Yeah,
don't do that for yourself. And for me,
exactly.
the gym is the time for myself.
hmm
I like to listen to loud music. I turn my headphones up all the way, but I still focus through my thoughts. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? So and then some days I don't think about anything. I just think about working out, and that's good too. To completely take a break from everything for an hour, hour and a half,
hmm
and just destroy your body.
Yep.
I thoroughly think that, that's what really helps me stay sane, because as you guys know now, I have to, manage 50, 60 people, and that could be a lot sometimes. And stuff can get really disorganized and go crazy. But, it's because my brain has been able to adapt to it and kind of stay sane through it, that I can think through it and find a solution. So
well, planning and consistency is the key to anything,
yeah.
right? To
Hmm.
success. And I schedule my days every day.
Right.
Even now, I mean, I got no real responsibilities other than doing this podcast and some stuff that I'm doing for the company. But really, I mean, I could do it at any time. But I set my alarm at 5 o'clock. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I do my little morning workout. I have tasks that I do every morning. I have a certain time that I write. I have a certain time that I work on this project. I go to the gym every day at 5:45. It's all planned out, and I try to
Right.
be as consistent with it as I possibly can, because it when you start losing the consistency, that's when things just start falling
That's
apart.
when your mind scrambles, and
Mhm.
that's what I've had to, work on a lot as far as this, new responsibility of a whole entire office, not just one team. It's that your mind can get discombobulated in such a way that you start to forget things that you wanted to do that day, or, you just gotta, like, write stuff down, and like you said, just plan it out. And if you plan it out, that keeps your mind focused on one thing. And if you are where your feet are 24/7, then you're not. It decreases anxiety. It decreases a sense of confusion, and it just helps your brain focus on that one thing and that one task, and then you move forward. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not the best at that right now. I will admit it, but that's where everyone I think needs to go as far as having a planned out day and doing one thing at a time, because I think that's super important for your mental health.
Oh,
James
100%.
sits there and tells me I need to get a calendar and do that.
Well,
Yeah.
we have a calendar, even a team one. Like this meeting is on that calendar. If I could get Emma to use that calendar, because she has one for herself
That's
and
right.
there's one for the team so that we can all see what everybody's into if we're scheduling something.
Right.
And I think I'm the only one that uses it,
Probably.
but yeah, I schedule all my, I have my own calendar. I schedule my stuff each day. It's the only way I can stay consistent.
That's right. That's right.
So,
I
you know,
use our appointment calendar at work.
Yeah, of course you do.
yeah,
Kind of have to know where you're going, right?
yeah, that's it. No,
That's too
yeah,
funny.
it makes it writing it down, whether it's
Mhm.
on a calendar on your phone or an actual planner, writing it down, it lets you know, okay, this is the task I have to do. This is the amount of time that I'm allotted to do that task. I have to do it with my writing or I won't do it.
Right.
So, um, uh, I'm working on some things that I'm writing, and if I don't schedule a time to sit down and do it, I'll go 2 or 3 days and not do it. And
Right.
then that idea or thought that I was working on has disappeared, and it's like I have to
Mhm.
go back and read back, okay, where was I? What was I trying to say here? What's going on? So, but
That's crazy. That sounds like something I need to do.
That's true.
Um, no. But before we kind of start wrapping up, because I know Austin has some meetings he needs
yeah.
to get into. But Austin, I just kind of wanted to ask and let you tell everyone. So you started, what year did you start working for Global Life Liberty National
Uh,
again?
2021,
2021. So we're in
March,
2023.
like late March, early April. So
Okay.
almost 2 years.
And so how long did it take you to get to the position that you're in now? And talk a little bit about kind of what characteristics you had to possess to get to that point.
Ooh, good question. That's a good one. So when I started out as an agent, it took me about 4 weeks to get to a supervising agent, 4 to 5 weeks. Okay. Let's just say 4 to 6. Don't remember an exact date. And then it took me a year and a month to get to a agency director. And then from that year and a month, it took me about a year and 4 or 5 months to get to regional agency director. And some things transpired, and I kind of got rushed into the position. But either way, it was coming, and I knew it was
Mhm.
coming. So the characteristics that I had to build was one, talking in front of people. When I first started, I was so shy and shy, like stage fright, not shy, but just you know what I'm saying. It's just the idea of standing in front of people. Everybody's looking at you, and everybody's listening to what you're saying. I get all sweaty, but I had to get over that fear, and I'm telling you, it was almost a crippling fear. Like I dreaded it, and I was like, "Please don't make me do this," and I just got up and did it.
That's how I was with cold calling. I never
Oh
had
my
any trouble
god.
talking to people, but picking up the phone,
Oh,
I'd be
see, cold
sweating.
see, the cold call wasn't my issue. It was getting
Yeah,
into a leadership role and doing a group interview, doing an office meeting with 60 eyes or 120 eyes looking at you, you know what I mean?
yeah.
I had to develop that trait and that skill to where I still get a little anxious sometimes, but it's a different type. It's like, once I get up there, I'm fine. You know what I mean? But the characteristics that I had to build was not only that, but it was a leadership role. It was a um, leave my ego at the door role, because when you're leading a group of people, you can't have an ego that's self-centered. You have to, because everybody's different. Everybody's going to need something different from you. So if you lead with ego, it's not going to work. Everybody's just going to look at you and be like, "What's this guy talking about? Like this dude's so full of himself." So I had to learn how to be selfless. I had to learn how to listen, and I had to learn just to be a overall better person. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's looking at you. Everybody's listening to what you're saying. And with me being as young as I am, I have some tendencies to say some stuff, and I'm like, why did I say that? You know what I'm saying? Well, what made me say that? You know what I mean? So but I've had to learn the hard way, you know? So I'd say the main characteristics that I had to pick up is talking in front of people and just becoming an overall better person. And that with that comes confidence. Once you conquer those fears, that confidence starts to rise. And trust me, I got a long way to go. I'm nowhere near where I need to be. My end goal is getting up front in front of 10,000 people or however many is at convention. I don't know if she's told you about our convention, but I want to win an award at convention and have to speak in front of all those people. That's my goal. We have a leadership academy with 100, 200 managers, supervisors that are listening to me and my story and how I got here. That's
Yeah.
my goal. So I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but the key thing for me is I'm always working towards something. I'm always having myself a goal. Being number one agency director in my category, that's not enough for me anymore. Being regional agency director for the Pensacola office, that's not enough for me anymore. And that was a high goal for me at one point, but I realized that once I get there, what's next?
Hmm.
Goals are
Because
always evolving.
if you don't give yourself a what's next, then what are you still doing here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's no peak, there's no top, there's no roof. So you constantly have to start like keep climbing. And that comes with, it's just crazy because 2 years ago when I started this, I was like, I want to be that person. All right. Then I was that person. I turned into that person. And then you're like, you find a new person. And then I'm finally the person that I've always wanted to be that I picked initially, but now I got to pick somebody else because
Hmm.
it's got to be like you
Keep
said, it's a,
growing.
it's a revolving door. So it's fun. It's fun. Um, and that's kind of a long answer to your question, but that's kind of how I've developed myself and how I had to develop myself for this thing would kind of fall apart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just in the short amount of time that I've been with the company and with the office, I mean, Austin has stepped up, James, in ways that just it's crazy. It's crazy. He goes up there during our meetings and he's talking and he puts on motivational videos. He puts on Goggins and I'm sitting there like, yes. And
Yeah, I love
I mean, he
goggles.
does a fantastic job really just leading everyone. And he
Yeah.
truly is a leader through and through. And it's super, super cool to just watch, especially some of our newer agents just sit there in awe. Like, wow, like look at him talking. He talks about, how he got here and, some of our new hires too, when we're doing like the group interview and all that stuff, he talks about it. And everyone's just sitting there like, oh my gosh, like this is legit. And it's just
Mhm.
really cool to watch the spark in people's eyes to just it's honestly life changing. This whole company is, this whole business is, and I mean, we really appreciate you coming on, Austin. I know that
Yeah,
you're constantly
absolutely.
working, so for you to sliver out a little time in your day to sit down with us is we really appreciate it.
Yeah, this was kind of like a little mental escape too, because otherwise I'd be doing something around here. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
appreciate y'all for giving me that opportunity.
No,
Yeah,
it's
for
great.
sure.
It was great to get to know you, learn a little bit about your story. I can definitely tell that you're putting in the hard work. And I mean, that's really what we're all about is helping
Right,
people find giving them the tools to do that, to put in the hard work and achieve their goals. So
right.
you're definitely doing the same thing in the insurance end. I know you got to go there. Any last thoughts you have that you want to share or
Man, it's just whatever you don't feel like doing, do it. I think that's one of the main things that I do every day. Do you think I feel like some days getting up in front of a lot of people and talking? Do you feel like I feel like getting up and going to the gym? It's 7:30 in the morning. Do you feel like making 100 phone calls in an evening or going out with an agent, even though I've been at the office for 12 hours? No, I don't do it, but I do it anyways. I do it anyways because if I don't do it, I'm gonna sit there and feel bad that I didn't do it, and my brain's just gonna be off. But just do the things that you don't want to do all the time, and then you'll create a culture within yourself. And I think Andy Frisella, I don't know if y'all know who that is. Andy Frisella,
absolutely 100%.
100%. He said it best. On the days that you feel your worst, you do the most activity. You be the most productive that you can possibly ever be. Because on your good days, if you do that, then on your good days, it's going to be that 10 times. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And that's how you can better yourself. So when you feel depressed, when you feel anxious, when you feel like just not getting up and doing something, that's when you need to do it and do extra. Just do one more. So we always say here at the office, show up one more day. do one more phone call, book one more appointment, do one more drop by. That's when you go talk to somebody at their house. Just do one more thing, because you never know what's going to be on the other side of that door. And that's the same thing for yourself. You never know what opportunities you could give yourself by just getting up and doing something you didn't feel like doing.
100%. Thank you so much again for coming. Emma, any final thoughts from you?
No, the only thing I was gonna say is just what Goggins does. I mean, in his most recent book, Never
That's my man
Finished.
right there.
I love Goggins.
Yeah.
He said he was running during heat advisory in California, right? And everyone was not supposed to be outside. And of course, Goggins being Goggins, he was out running. And he had seagulls dive bombing him. He was trucking it through, dying, trying to stay hydrated, still running. And someone drives by and turns around, realizes it's him. And like, Goggins, what are you doing out here? He's like, why are you running? And he was like, because you're not. And so that's the mentality that I have really started to identify with. I really like it. I mean, on Thursdays we have something called Comma Club, and we go over kind of everyone's paycheck who actually made a dent in the office and may improve themselves. So it's really really cool to get up there, and that's the mentality that I have every time I get out there. I'm like, man, if y'all aren't up here, it's I did it because you didn't. So that's all I wanted to end with. But yeah.
That's fantastic. I like Austin. I love how you talked about doing the hard things when things aren't going great. I often say one of the things that I think about and say quite a bit is to truly be successful in anything, you need to get very comfortable being uncomfortable.
Oh,
Mhm.
so
And it doesn't matter what you're doing, whether it's working out, dieting, it doesn't matter. Get comfortable being uncomfortable, and that will
Yep.
truly drive you to success. But we
Yep.
thank you very much. We love all of you. Please like, subscribe. We're just trying to have great conversations, tell good stories, bring people that have been achieving success so that you guys can learn, maybe take some tips away on how you can do better, and then take those tools and accomplish your own goals. We love y'all. We're very thankful for you. Keep working hard, peoples, and remember, don't forget to smile. Thanks so much for watching or listening. Remember, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can find us on Facebook at Work Hard Peoples LLC or Instagram at Work Hard Peoples LLC. You can also find us on our website at workhardpeoples.com. Have a great day or night. Don't forget to smile.